Hi everyone, this is a video tutorial on scheduling a meeting using Microsoft Teams, but instead of scheduling a meeting for only one team, we're going to schedule for more than one team. So the example here is this. I have here two teams, a teacher training team and the test team 2. I want to schedule a meeting and involve everybody in this team and everybody in this team. So usually the way most of us, especially educators, the way that we schedule our lessons, we go to the calendar in Teams and we simply click round about where we want the lesson. So let's say I want to book a lesson here, and from here I will give it the title, and here where it says add channel, I'm able to choose one team only, and I'm able to set up, let's say, this teacher training, and I can choose this channel here, but I'm not able to add another channel from another team. I can only use one team, one channel. So if we want to involve more teams, more channels, we need to use a different method. For example, if you teach, let's say, 3 year 7 classes or 3 or 4 year 6 classes, and you want to do a lesson or a meet for all of them together, then instead of doing 4 separate ones, you can call them all into the same meeting. You don't have to create a new team and add all the students in. Okay, so how would we do that? Let's just cancel this. Actually, before I get into how we're going to do that, let's just discard that. I need to explain to you a little bit about Teams and the emails around each channel. So every team, every channel in every team has got its own unique email address, and we can use that email address to send an email to the channel, and that way everybody in that channel will see that email. They don't get it in their inbox, they will see it in the channel. So for example, if I wanted to send something to teacher training in the general section, I can click on the 3 ellipses here and I can get this email address. And if you see, this is not a standard email. You can see it's got a code here, 8BAFB4A3 .thejuniorschool.com and so on and so forth. So this email address can be used so you can send an email to the general channel, and you've got an email for every channel. For example, in this teacher training, I've got different channels. I can go to theory, click on that and edit, get the email address. I can copy this email address and send the email. We can't use these email addresses for scheduling meetings. However, there is another email address which is used for every team. So if you see here, the name of this team is teacher training. So there's an email address which is teacher training at thejuniorschool.com, or whatever your domain is, but without the space. So for every team that you create, the name of that team followed by your domain is an email address which is linked to the general channel, and that email address we can use to schedule meetings as well. Just to show you this, here I've got my tenant, and you can see in the groups, here is the teacher training group. So every team has got its group, and each team, if I click on this here, we can have a look at the email and the aliases. So here we go. You can see here the email address of this team is teachertraining at thejuniorschool.com. The space has been removed. So if you've got any spaces in your team's names, you just remove the spaces and add your domain, and that's your email address. So keeping that in mind, let's go schedule our meeting with multiple teams. So there's 2 methods we can do this. The first method is using Outlook Online. So this is my Outlook through 365. So from 365, I've clicked on Outlook and I've gone to the calendar down here. Okay. Now I'm going to click on the date and the time when I want to schedule. I mean, you don't have to. You can click at any point and change it in the settings. But let's say I'm going to schedule this in, let's say, in about an hour from now. So when I click on this, I get the small dialog box, so I can schedule an appointment, essentially a calendar entry. I'm going to click on more options, and here I'm going to add a title, multi teams meet 1. Okay, and here where it's got invite attendees, I'm able from the online version to start typing my team name, teacher space training. Here I can put the space because it's the name, but if you look underneath here where it's found my team, it's actually got teacher training without the space. And there we go. And I know this is good because if I look down here, it's added the recipient. There you go. And it's got that tick. And let me add my next one as well. Test team 2. There it is down here, and then it's gone green. If I type something which doesn't exist, say test team with 2 M's, and I type, well, actually let's just write the whole email address, test team at the junior school.com. So if I type an email address which is not linked to anything or a team, and I click away, it looks like it's added something, but if we look down here, it's got that question mark. Okay, so that tells me I've done something wrong here. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of that one. Okay, now all I have to do is just fill in the rest, but there's one more step. Down here, add online meeting. So I want to add Teams meeting, and what that's going to do is going to add in the email, the links for the team meeting. Okay, so that's a very important step there. Okay, the rest of it you probably know. You set the date of the meeting, the time it's going to start, when it's going to finish. If you want it to repeat, then just type your email as well. Lesson all year 6, for example. And we simply send. And that's it. You can see in my calendar here it's scheduled. Here's my team. So if I go to my team's calendar, can you see there it is, multi-teams meet 1. And I'm going to show you some student calendars as well. Before I do that, let's have a look and see who's in each of these teams. So in this teacher training team, the team members are student 3, student 1, and this John Doe account. So that's in the teacher training. And in the test team 2, manage team, I've got this student 4 and 5. So I've got 2 student accounts here. So let's bring that down. This is the John Doe from the teacher training student, and this is student 5 from the test team 2. Okay, so let's refresh their calendar. Refresh and refresh, and there we go. The multi-teams meeting has just been added. There you can see multi-teams meet 1, multi-teams meet 1. So these 2 students from 2 separate teams have had the meeting scheduled in their calendar, and simply by clicking on their calendar they can join the meeting. Okay, so that's how we do it using Outlook Online. If we want to use our desktop version of Outlook, exactly the same thing. Okay, so I'm just going to do another one here for you now. So this is my Outlook, my desktop version. I'm just simply in a blank folder here so my emails don't show, and I'm going to click on my calendar. There we go. I'm going to click anywhere in the calendar, but I usually click round about where my meeting is going to be. So I'm going to put it after this one here. So I'm going to click here, and at the top you can see new Teams meeting. Very important. If you've got your updated or all your updates, you should find the new Teams meeting already added at the top. And again, I'm going to call this the other one was multi Teams, and I'm going to call this number 2. Okay, and now in the required attendees, we're going to type the name of the of our team. So again, teacher, hang on, not that one, in the required. So I'm going to go to teacher training. Can you see it's found it here? Can you see what's actually adding again? Teacher training at thejuniorschool.com. So if you don't find the team, let's say it doesn't find the team when you're typing the team name here in the required, that's fine. You can just take the email, you can generate the email simply by using the name of the team and adding your domain. Just remove any spaces. Okay, so I'm going to select that one, and I'm also going to add my test team. There it is, test team 2. So again, if I wasn't sure, I can type the whole email, test team 2 without any spaces. That's what it's like, at the juniorschool.com. Okay, now keep a note. And this is why I showed you the emails before at the beginning of this tutorial. You cannot use this email. So if you get email address of the channel general, this email address you cannot use. If I copy this and I use this one, let's say here, although it adds in, it looks like it's going to send to general 2, the students will not get the schedule of the meeting scheduled in their calendar. Okay, so you have to use the email address, which is the name of the team. Let's just get rid of all that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, that's that done. I'm just going to leave that 7:30 until 8. You can see here already it's added the Teams links because we used the Teams meeting. I'm simply going to click send. Okay, so let's have a look at our calendar. So I'm going to go to my Teams calendar. You can see now I've got my multi-teams 2 and I can join that. And I'm just going to drag the 2 students down again. Here we go. Refresh my calendar, that one and that one. And we should now see the second meeting there. There you go. Okay, so the students have got 2 meetings that they can join. One was scheduled using Outlook Online. The other one was scheduled using Outlook desktop version. Okay, I just wanted to add a word of caution. When you're changing the name of a team, I see many educators do this, especially when they want to use the same team again for the next year. It's best to create a duplicate of a team instead of renaming the team. The reason why I'm mentioning this is this. So if I change this team here, and I go to edit team, so let's say I just want to rename this to teacher training. I'm just going to call this teacher train sample. So I'm changing the name of this team, update. Now, although the name here has changed, and we can see this here, when it comes to actually using the email now to create a meeting or schedule a meeting, well, let's have a look and see what that looks like. Although the name has changed, let's just go and find it here now. Okay, teacher train. There we go. Now, can you see the name here has changed? I'm going to zoom that in just a little bit there. Okay, the name has changed, but this is where most people go wrong, and they try to schedule the meeting through Outlook and it doesn't work. People don't get the notification or the add-in in their calendar. And the reason is this: when you actually change the name of a team, although you are changing the display name, if you look here, the email address of that team is still with the old name. So you need to be careful. If you're changing names of your teams, you need to change the primary email address of that team as well. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to use the email name to actually schedule meetings. Now, you cannot change the primary email yourself. You're going to need to contact your local administrator to do that for you. So avoid changing the names of a team. It's best if you plan your team names. Good planning will save you a lot of headache in the future. Okay, so to sum up, you can send an email directly to a Teams channel simply by copying the email link from any channel so you can communicate with the channel members. And you can get the email from here, so get email address, but you cannot use this email to schedule meetings. The other takeaway from this is we can schedule a meeting with multiple teams using either the online version of Outlook through the calendar or using the desktop version of Outlook, just clicking on Teams meeting. Hope you find it useful. See you again next time.